Two mechanical keyboards with RGB lighting made by Corsair, the K70 and the Strafe, and at two different prices. Which one is worth it? Let's find out. K70 and Strafe RGB mechanical keyboards are more similar than their names may indicate. For this particular review, both of the boards are equipped with the Cherry MX Brown switches. However, it should be noted that the K70 can also come with red switches, while the Strafe has the option of coming in red, silent, and blue switches as well. Both keyboards are equipped with per-key RGB LEDs capable of some brilliant displays, even in a well-lit room. Corsair's Q software, which stands for Corsair Utility Engine, is rather simple for setting up the basic RGB effects on either keyboard, including the spiral rainbow, as well as setting each key's individual color. My personal favorite setup is to set the keys to blue and orange for my Florida Gators and have the effect set to type lighting ripple so that when I'm slamming on the keyboard, there is a brilliant array of colors that fly across the keys. And unlike some other RGB keyboards that I've seen, the LEDs on here are pretty even and create a full effect on each key, and neither the Strafe nor the K70 suffer from light bleed on the keys. If you're looking for a solid RGB lighting experience on a keyboard, Corsair definitely makes a compelling argument with their implementation of the LEDs. The Q software also allows you to program macros or completely reprogram each of the keys on either keyboard. Both the K70 and the Strafe are both equipped with 100% anti-ghosting and 104 key rollover. They also feature a Windows button lock key, an LED brightness adjustment key, and a switch on the back to adjust the polling rate of the keyboard up to 1000 Hz. Also included with the keyboards is the detachable soft touch wrist rest, which in my personal opinion is pretty terrible. I'm not sure if it's how I position my hands when I type or the oiliness of my skin or something else, but I found that I could hardly keep my hands firmly affixed while typing, and it was best if I left the wrist rest in the box. And speaking of the box, both keyboards come with a keycap puller as well as some specially textured gaming keycaps to replace on the boards if you so desire. And that's where the similarity ends between the two. To be sure, both keyboards are identical in most of the ways that matter, but also have a few key functional differences and few aesthetic ones as well. The Corsair K70 has a brushed anodized black aluminum finish that looks pretty fantastic IMO, while the Strafe keyboard goes with a hard black plastic look with white plastic accenting, but also has a couple of white LED accents on either side of the board. The cables attached to the keyboards are also slightly different. The K70 comes with a nice braided fiber cable, while the Strafe opts for a matte, tangle-free rubber experience. The K70 has the honors of bearing the Corsair gaming logo, while the Strafe keyboard is stuck with Corsair's generic name branding. And to come to an even more trivial difference, the spacebar on the Strafe is textured, while the K70 provides you with an ordinary boring spacebar experience. But getting to more functional differences, the K70 is complete with dedicated media control buttons as well as a volume control wheel. While on the Strafe, for media controllability, you have to resort to using a function key like some sort of laptop user. However, while the Strafe manages to feel incomplete with its lack of dedicated media controls, I feel that it makes up for it by the fact that it actually has a USB pass-through port on the back of the keyboard, while even the K70, which has dual USB plugs, the same as the Strafe, it uses neither of them to have a USB pass-through port, which frankly bothers me. And with the Corsair K70 having a suggested MSRP of $190 or $30 more than the Strafe, I frankly have no idea why this simple functional USB port couldn't just be added to the back of the design. So let's come to the conclusion on these keyboards. Here in South Africa, you'll be paying close to 3,200 Rand for the K70 and just over 2,600 Rand for the Strafe. For that extra 600 Rand on the K70, you'll get a nicer brushed aluminum finish, a more premium looking braided cable, and dedicated media controls. With the Corsair Strafe, you'll lose all of the design elements, the media controls, but gain the extra functionality of being able to freaking plug something into your keyboard when it's already taking up two USB ports on your computer. And you'll also have the extra cash still left in your bank account afterwards. And as someone who isn't personally swayed by design over function, I'd rather lose looks to gain that USB port. Or maybe I'd rather use a keyboard that has both. Like, let's say the G-Skills Ripjaw KM780, which is my personal favorite keyboard and is the one that's actually going to stay on my desk. But ultimately, it's up to you and what your personal preferences, needs, and budget are. Let me know in the comments section down below which one you would choose, the better looking, more expensive K70 or the more functional, cheaper Strafe. And with that, I'd like to give a big thank you to Wootware for sponsoring this review of the Corsair K70 and Strafe RGB gaming keyboards. Wootware should be your go-to computer shop in South Africa if you're in the market for a new graphics card, processor, keyboard, headset, or anything else that you might need to complete your gaming rig. They have a tremendous selection that's updated frequently, low prices, and a customer support staff that goes out of their way to make sure you feel taken care of. So if you're in South Africa, head on over to wootware.co.za to woot up your life. And that wraps it up for my review on the Corsair K70 and Strafe RGB mechanical keyboards. Like this video if you found it helpful. Dislike it if it was more disappointing than the no USB port on something that uses two USB things on the back. I still don't even get it because this is the same design. Come on, Corsair. Anyways, you can subscribe for all of my tech-related content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.